Let's now observe a minute of silence for prayer. I request everyone to rise for prayer. Thank you all. Please be seated.
Let's hear more about the summit. Safe, energy efficient and low emission transport systems are the need of the hour for India to have a sustainable future and fulfill its international commitments on climate change. The Medalytics Gen Next Transport and Technology Summit 2022 seeks to bring together all stakeholders of India's transportation sector under one roof to provide a roadmap to help them determine where to play and how to win, displaying innovations to shape the future of the country's transportation ecosystem. Being organized by Medalytics in association with Kochi Metro Rail Limited, this one-day conference cum exhibition will see the who's who from the transportation and technology sector. The show will witness convergence of all government ministries, state governments and technology companies and industrial captains from the corporate sector to co-create a public interest framework to transform the future of transport in India.
Medalytics Digital Convergence is a new age governance tech startup initiated multiple digital platforms for G2B, B2B, B2C and D2C knowledge ecosystem. It promotes accurate updates, analysis, forecasting on policy, decision and projections on governance domains. It caters to diverse sectors including IT, skill, infrastructure, mobility, health, education and BFSI. Medalytics also diversified its offerings to conferences, webinars and customized events, exhibition and awards.
We are proud to pronounce the host partner of this event, KMRL. Kochi Metro Rail Limited is a center state public sector company in Kochi that operates the Kochi Metro and Kochi Water Metro with a vision to enrich the quality of life for everyone in Kochi by facilitating better connectivity between people and places, and between people and prosperity.
Rajagiri School of Engineering and Technology, Autonomous in Kakinad, Kochi is a premier educational institution offering excellence in engineering education and research. RSET Autonomous is an endeavor of the Sacred Heart province of the CMI. It is accredited with A grade by NAAC. The institution provides undergraduate programs and postgraduate programs in engineering and also offers programs on research, which is PhD in science and engineering. We would love to take this opportunity to express our pride in being the knowledge partner of today's prestigious event.
Moving ahead, now we begin with the inaugural session. We have the welcome address by the program mentor, Father Jason Paul Mullerical, CMI, Vice Principal of RSET. Father Jason Paul Mullerical is a professor of computer science at RSET. He is a member of the Sacred Heart Province Kochi of CMI Convocation. He received his PhD in High Performance Scientific Computing from the Australian National University in 2013. He has done his Masters in Information System at Armid University, Melbourne, Australia. He worked as a computational scientist at New Zealand's e-science infrastructure at the University of Auckland. We invite you on stage.
Respected dignitaries on and off the dais, a very good morning to all of you. It's a great pleasure for me to welcome you all to Gen Next Transport and Technology Summit 2022 as the program mentor. The summit is jointly organized by Kochi Metro, RSCT and Medalytics Digital Convergence. So we are happy as RSET to host this event in our campus. Technology plays a very important role in transportation as never before, as we all know. Just a few days ago, when we had the tragic bus accident in Palakkad, the GPS system, along with the real-time monitoring module in the bus, enabled the authorities to straight away report that the bus was clocked a speed of 97.7 km per hour just few seconds before the accident, and the bus got tilted soon after that, and the owner of the bus was intimated twice about the dangerous speed levels before this tragic event, I think that Srijit sir, who is on the dais, our Honorable Transport Commissioner, is the one who announced or released this information to the public. We pay homage to all those affected by this great tragedy. But at the same time, it also shows the power of technology in transportation. And there is much more which will be deliberated today in the summit. So I wish this summit all the very best and all the participants fruitful deliberations. So let me come to my duty. First of all, a very warm welcome to Sri Haibi Eden, the Honorable MP for Ernakulam, who is a very good friend of RSCT and KMRL. He straight away agreed to us to attend this function just at the note of a WhatsApp message. And he has taken all the pain to come over here. He just landed today at 3 o'clock in the morning from abroad. And here he is with us today. So Haibi, in the name of all who have gathered here, RSET and KMRL, a very warm welcome. Next, I would like to welcome Sri S. Srijit IPS, the Transport Commissioner, Government of Kerala. As I just mentioned, I think he is in the middle of a lot of things. But I think which makes it a perfect platform for him to spread his vision and advocacy in transportation domain, especially in safety. Thank you so much, sir, for coming over here and enlightening us. A very welcome to you, sir. RSET is very happy to associate with the KMRL for the past 8 years through a formal MOU, which has finally resulted in a Department of Science and Technology supported research project. We have created a data analytical platform for Kochi Metro. The man who supported in all our endeavors is the MD of Kochi Metro, Sri Loknath Behraji, who is also the program chair for this summit. He has chosen to live very nearby to us in Edachara, so he is our neighbor at the moment. So with that family feeling, I invite you to this summit, sir. Very welcome, sir. And also we are very happy that the second phase of RSET KMR research project will be announced here today. And also a note of gratitude for the same to Beharaji as well. And also we have Sri Nagaraju Chekilam, the IPS, the IG Commissioner of Police, Kochi City, as our guest of honor. Thank you so much for coming over here, sir. Very warm welcome. Also we got Prashant Sinhaji, the Senior Vice President, Axis Bank, who is also present with us. They are also the title sponsor of the summit and a strong partner of KMRL. Very welcome you, sir. Now let me welcome our family members. RSET hosts the event. Our director, Reverend Dr. Jos Kuriyedat CMI, he is present here. And he has given all the support for this program. He has given the permissions and all the encouragement. And he has also graced the souvenir with his message. So thank you, as well as a very warm welcome to this summit, Father. Also we have Professor Dr. Srijit PS, the principal of Rajagiri School of Engineering and Technology with us. He has supported all the endeavors related to this event. Thank you, sir, and very welcome to this conference. And we got some eminent personalities, I think eminent academician like Professor Ashish Verma from IISc Bangalore, who is heading the Sustainable Transport Lab. And also we got friends from Cochin Metro. I can see Sinhaji is there, and so many others are there, our friends are there. And then I think Ajit sir, Shine, everybody is here. Then CSML, then KMTA, KPMG, friends from KPMG, Delhi Metro, Bangalore Metro, Cochin Port, CL, and other vendors and all the participants. So I welcome all of you to this event. And also I must welcome this person, that is Biswajit Sahu, who is from Medidetics Digital Convergence. He has taken all the pain in coordinating this event, and without him and his team, that is Sunil Beharaji and Pravida, this would not have happened. And also the leadership from RSET under the leadership of Mr. Binu, Sminu, Harsha, Aisha, Sajan Raj, all are here. So thank you so much. and welcome you all. So once again, welcoming you all, I remain thank you.
Thank you, Father. Now, we move on to the most auspicious ceremony of the day, that is, lighting of the lamp. I request all the dignitaries to come forward. Thank you, dignitaries. I request you to be seated. We have with us the Honorable MP, Mr. Haibi Eden, who is the guest of honor of this event. Haibi Eden is a 38-year-old member of parliament from India representing Ernakulam constituency. Some of his prominent interventions so far include 100% free super specialty health intervention for the economically stressed people, menstrual hygiene management programs for girls, affordable housing for the underprivileged, and an integrated transportation system for Kochi. His biggest priorities include ensuring access to quality education, healthcare, and drinking water for the communities of his constituency. He strives to empower local communities by promoting skill development, entrepreneurship, and local investments to generate jobs for youth. With utmost respect, we invite you onto the stage for your special inaugural address. Honorable MP, we welcome you onto the stage.
The president of today's function, our very own Reverend Dr. Jose Kurieda, the director of Rajagiri Institute of Science and Technology, the managing director of Kochi Metro Rail Limited and former Director General of Police, our very own Sri Loknath Behra IPS, Transport Commissioner Sri Srijit IPS, Commissioner of Police Sri Nagaraju IPS, Vice Principal of Rajagiri Engineering College, Father Jason, Principal Sri Srijit, the representative of Axis Bank Sri Prashant Sinha, distinguished guests on the dais, off the dais, and friends. It's a great honor to be here, to be a part of this very auspicious deliberations which is going to happen today based on transport and technology. As Father Jason mentioned, I flew this morning from Istanbul and I was amazed to see the technological intervention in the public transportation system. which is something all of us can benefit from. The inception of the Cochin Metro Rail has no doubt, none of us are doubting about the intervention it has made in our day-to-day lives and how easy a public transportation can become is a classic example of Kochi Metro Rail. And there has been a huge cultural transition in our public transportation means, whereby we have not rapidly, but we have moved from a culture whereby we are ready to sacrifice, ready to park our cars and two-wheelers in parking slots or walk a mile from our homes to the nearest metro stations, where we can actually take a metro ride, which has a lot of advantages in a busy city like Cochin, in a growing metropolitan city like Cochin. I've experienced the benefit and advantage of the state-of-the-art transportation like the metros in many of the huge cities, where whenever there was heavy rainfalls and whenever there have been road accidents, whenever the city went into a stall and a stagnant position, all these metro rails have made their duties as usual. Even if it is a public holiday, even there is a natural calamity, even when there is a Bandh or Hartal, the Kochi Metro Rail or any other metro services of a country performs their duties quite well. So we have an advantage on one side where we have a state-of-the-art transportation facility. Mr. Bharajay is a person very keenly working on how more people can use the metro, how more public can join the culture of metro in the coming days. As I said, for the last 4 or 5 days, when I was in a country for the first time, where English is not a main language, Turkish is the main language in Turkey, in Istanbul. Unfortunately, all the signboards and all the devices, technological devices, are based on a language called Turkish. But the interesting part is, when we go into the city or to the outskirts, if we hire a taxi, it is quite expensive. And now the other part of technology is the taxi drivers make sure that they search the routes on Google Maps and make sure if there is a red line, they won't take you for a ride to the destination you wish to go. So if there is an intense traffic block, they might not be happy to take you on a taxi ride. So when I asked some of the local people, they said that you have to take an Istanbul card. And for taking an Istanbul card, for using the metro rail and the trams and the public buses, you have a screen where you have to put a 50 lira note, where you will get a red color card called the Istanbul card. And you can very easily, without knowing the language, you can just keep the card on the screen. You can insert any amount of money you want to. It will be added on your card. And that card can be used as a card which can be used in metro, in the public buses, and also on the trams which are on the streets of Turkey. So this was very easy for me and my family. 4 of us traveled in a tram, in a metro, and on a public bus using the Istanbul card. The point I'm trying to make is, technology makes us so connected. There was a lot of inhibition earlier for a generation which was much more elder to me. They were quite skeptical about using technology in their day-to-day lives. I don't think anybody in this room, including Father Jose Kuriadat, is using WhatsApp on daily basis. Is using. I said there wouldn't be anybody, including Father Jose, Dr. Jose Kuriadat. So there is nobody left in this room who has access to technology, who is working on daily basis, sending documents, sending major documents and having access and chats on the technological platform which we are using. So this is a time when our life is made much easier using technology. And public transport is such a domain. The chief of Axis Bank is right here. All the transactions, banking transactions, all the major bills of the Kerala state government, including the Kerala State Electricity Board, or for that matter, if it is the water authority bills, Kerala water authority bills, all the major taxes, bills can be submitted, can be paid online. The Transport Commissioner, Mr. Srijit, is here. Even if you want to apply for a license, for that matter, it is now an online procedure. I had to recently update, revise my license, renew my license. So that was a procedure which was done online. So Kerala is a community, apart from the general education scenario which we are strong in. We are also quite strong in the technological platform, or the e-platform, or the e-literacy rate is much higher compared to the other states of the country. So even for that matter, it is health or education, Kerala compared to the higher states, it has got an advantage. So it would be much easier for a community like Kerala to adopt a technology-friendly transportation system. We are striving towards a day where, with a single card, we would be able to travel on Kochi Metro Rail, on KSRTC bus, on buses coming to Vaitila Mobility Hub, on a water metro, and I believe maybe in the future on the Indian railway system also. So very single card which can be owned, can be used in all modes of transport, which would be a life-changing thing for all of us. So technology has always a key vital role in our day-to-day lives. Even though there has been a lot of inhibition in the past, with a generation which were not quite friendly in using technology as a mode of transport, or for that matter in our day-to-day lives. But our day-to-day lives have been so easy. Google Pay has made wonders in our lives, even though I don't use Google Pay because my bank account doesn't stay full if you have a Google account. So things have there has been a huge transition, a paradigm shift in our day-to-day lives, where technology plays a very vital role. And I'm very sure that Honorable KMRL MD and the Transport Commissioner would have more to say on the day-to-day affairs of the department, as well as the Kochi Metro Rail. Kochi Metro Rail has an IC4 command and control unit. Recently, being a member of the Urban Development Standing Committee of the Parliament, which includes the Metro, the Housing Department, the Smart City, etc., comes under the Kochi, the Urban Development Standing Committee, and we were fortunate enough to visit Delhi and many other states. The states have used technology in such a manner that even the drug peddlers of the city can be watched on the screens. Even any penalty which has been charged, or any day-to-day affairs of the law department, police department, or anybody who is trying to break a law, is being captured on a screen, and the data and information integrated to the IC4 command and control unit is so immense. I believe that in future Kochi would also be equipped with a lot of data from different departments, the government departments, the local self-governments, where the integration can lead, give a massive change to our day-to-day life. So I believe that all the dignitaries on the dais would be speaking on that. I'm very happy that Rajagiri, an institute which has new courses to their engineering department, BTech department, has organized such a platform for, as he mentioned, we are not very happy sitting on the dais where all our minds are not very much disturbed with the recent accident which happened in Palakkad district. And I believe that technology is something which can actually make a lot of difference in all these matters. Whenever lawbreakers come in, it is very easy to identify the lawbreakers and to make sure that crimes are easily sorted out and solved using technology. So transport and technology can do wonders when a robust form of transport can be integrated into technology. I think every minute, even the auto rickshaw which we use, can be a life-changing device for our day-to-day lives. So I thank everybody, the management of the Rajagiri Engineering College, for inviting me to give me an opportunity to speak on this particular matter. I'm very happy to be a part of this very auspicious gathering. All the very best to the organizers and the sponsors and the dignitaries on the dais who are major players, who are senior police officers, who are people heading the metro, heading the state transportation department. So all these key players together on one platform can make wonders. I wish all the very best for this seminar, for the deliberations which is going to happen today. We have speakers from across the country who would be very, in minute detail, would be speaking in very depth about this particular topic. So all the very best for this wonderful initiative, Rajagiri Engineering College and the people who have coordinated this event. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir. Now we have the keynote address by Sri S. Srijit, IPS Transport Commissioner, Government of Kerala. So Srijit is an officer of Indian Police Services having a socially conscious attitude. He is a 1996 batch official of the Indian Police Service, currently serves as the Inspector General of Police Crime Branch and CIO of Kerala State Human Rights Commission. Sri S. Srijit IPS is an accomplished scholar and a highly qualified speaker to deliver motivational speeches on a wide range of topics including anti-human trafficking, child abuse, etc. He is the founder of the anti-human trafficking clubs in Kerala and also known as the Big Daddy of Kerala Police. Now he is a Transport Commissioner of the state. With all due respect, I would like to invite him onto the stage.
President of the function, Father Jose Kuriyadat, Sri Haibi Eden MP, respected Darasa, Nagaraju, Father Jason, Prashant Sinha, and Principal Srijit, and my dear friends on and off the dais. It's not normal for the police, for the senior to wait for the junior. So actually I took Barasa's kind permission only because I have to rush to the accident site again. I'm supposed to have been speaking on futuristic, sustainable modes of transport and what we have in the annual and what we are planning. But unfortunately I have to admit to you that my mind is certainly clogged, my vision with the kind of grief that has overcome all of us after I visited the accident site the day before. So I would actually like to speak something on accident prevention and a futuristic model for the same, coupled with my minuscule thoughts on sustainable transport. I am very sure that there are experts who have done enough and more on the job, and with Barrister at the helm of affairs at the metro, I have been warning some of my friends in the KMRL that beware, here comes a man who knows how to get these things done. He was actually with us for the last 5 to 6 years. We were working in close quarters, and he is an officer and a person who never takes no for an answer. God forbid if he decides to ensure that the metro runs on the roads. If he decides that, that also will be done. That is the kind of person that he is. So he's a go-getter. He'll get things done, and I'm very, very sure that KMRL and KMTA, I don't know how many of you know about this, is going to scale newer heights under his guidance and leadership. So this is just a forerunner of things to come. There are much more things to come, and he's actually capable of taking it to unthinkable and unscalable heights. So all the best to all of you who's going to work with him. But let me again warn you of all those who are going to work with him. He's a hard taskmaster. He smiles through and through, but he makes things work, and he makes you work. So that apart, what I'm trying to tell you is about the accidents and the accident reduction schemes and the plans and whatnot. And I have to hail and I have to be very proud of this institution called Rajagiri, because it has been the pioneer for so many such initiatives prior also. And I don't know how many of you know that we have had something called an experiment done in Rajagiri has actually propelled us to give a curriculum to the education department on the 28th last. We actually did something called Safe Campus. It was an experiment which was done in Rajagiri, and we found out that the students were actually users of two-wheelers and some four-wheelers too. We actually done a study on them and gave them a particular kind of inputs. It's actually basically done by the work of a couple of my motor vehicle inspectors who were actually very committed to their cause. So actually what happened was that after the experiment, the inputs that we gave to the students, the violations that they had probably committed while they were on the roads prior to that experiment and post this experiment came down by 82%. This was something remarkable. So this project was put up to the government, and the government approved it. My minister was all happy about the whole thing. It is called Safe Campus, and he wanted to extend it to the whole of Kerala, and we are actually planning to do the same. And at the same time, we wanted to give a syllabus for traffic and road safety to +2 students, and make sure that after they go through this particular course, and once they clear the exam, they don't have to appear for the learner's test. So this is the added incentive that we are going to give them. So the course wouldn't be all rosy, it is all grotesque. We have included very gruesome accidents and accident scenes into the same, and we have told them how this has happened and why it should not happen and why you shouldn't drink and drive. So many things are built into the system, and we have already also included a particular chapter on road rage. So why there shouldn't be a rage on the road? Road is not a place where you actually win. Road is not a place where you become macho. No. It's a place where you actually live and let live. So this concept has been built into this curriculum, and we have given it to the education department, and the curriculum committee is actually examining it. And if all goes well, by the next year we would have this syllabus in most of our +2 schools. So I'm actually very indebted to the institution that is Rajagiri for having pioneered such an attempt from our side, and this is going to go a long way, and you can actually feel proud if we have. And let me tell you, this kind of an experiment is the first of its kind in the world. There's no other, I don't think, nothing has come to my notice. If there's any expert who's more knowledgeable than me on this, may kindly enlighten me. As far as I know, and I have experimented and searched and researched, there's no other country in the world which has included this as a curriculum and as a subject to study. So if this happens in Kerala, Rajagiri would be responsible for that, for pioneering this experiment, and we will also be proud to be the first department of its kind in the world to have such a curriculum. So this is what we are trying to do in trying to inculcate the right kind of aptitude and attitude on the roads, at least for the next generation. Now there are 3 E's of traffic, as probably all of you would be knowing. That is education, engineering and enforcement. Now anywhere in the world, enforcement can only cater to 20% of the violations. The rest of these violations have to come in by way of education, by self-regulation, civility, civic sense, and the engineering which is incumbent on the system, that is the government, of course. But this attitude and aptitude part is something which you have to build up. Now, as Honorable MP was pointing out, technology has made definitive strides, huge strides. And as he rightly pointed out, there was an alarm going to this particular owner of the bus. 20 minutes prior and 40 minutes prior to the particular incident. Now, there was a $64 million question which is still being posed to me, even by the High Court yesterday. Why couldn't you stop this bus if it was speeding? Now, here the answer comes. We have got the largest vehicular density in the world is in Kerala. We have got 1,67 lakh vehicles for a population of 3.3 crores. Roughly 2 people per vehicle. So every 2 people, if you see together, you can be sure that one owns a vehicle. And the numbers are still mounting. I mean, it's not going down in any way. And most of these vehicles are fossil fuel driven. So, if you talk about carbon emission in Kerala, we also will be topping that way too. Little are we concerned about, the fallouts. Least are we bothered about what is going to happen to the next generation for posterity. We're not bothered about all that. So this attitude and aptitude should come in. Now, how can you build this in? Now, I'll come back to the question which was posed to me by most of the media and the public yesterday. Why couldn't you prevent this vehicle if it showed a speed of more than what it should be? Now, let me tell you, there's a project by the government where it's called Operation Nirbhaya, where we are supposed to have VLTD. VLTD means Vehicle Location Tracking Device, which is a GPS device which is fitted onto every vehicle so that we can track where they are. 840,000 odd vehicles have to be fitted with this VLTD. Now, the government in all its utmost sincerity still believes that, most of these operators, drivers and traffic owners are people with some kind of a civic sense. So they just gave a directive that, this VLTD shall be fitted onto these vehicles and the vehicles will be monitored by the Motor Vehicles Department. There is no penal provision attached to this. So the government said, you get it done, please do this. So we told everybody, please do this. Most of them scoffed at us. So the result is that 250,000 vehicles have fitted with VLTD, while 6 lakh still remain. 2 aspects to this again. What is the penal provisions for overspeeding? It is nothing more than a fine. Now, then the question is asked, whether have you started fining all those vehicles going beyond the speed limits which have been fitted with the VLTD? Now, those vehicles which have already been fitted with the VLTD, they are only 250,000. We have started sending alerts to them now. If we start enforcing fines on them and them only, those of them who have not actually fitted with these VLTDs, they would become smarter. So the smart Alex think that, by defying the law, by defying the system, they think that they rule the roost. They think that they call the shots. Little do they realize that inadvertently they are contributing to all these deaths on the road. We have got 4,000 deaths on the road every year. 4,000 deaths on the road. Now, the last 5 to 6 months, Motor Vehicles Department has been doing us proud by bringing it down. Let me take a reservation to my own statement. It is actually police and Motor Vehicles Department combined have been able to bring down the fatalities on the road by 13.7%. 13.7% of 4,000 means another 500 people alive on the roads somewhere. So we are quite, there's a Supreme Court committee headed by none less than a justice. His name is Ajay Kumar Sapru, who's been coming off and on to monitor this, and we have been very proudly telling him, sir, we have actually managed to bring down our fatalities by 13.7%, and I've written to all the commissioners and the collectors again as road safety commissioner that we have to bring it down to 20% and further beyond. And this tragedy is actually a personal tragedy for somebody like me who's actually aspiring to bring it down to 20%. Now, well, that aside, what I'm trying to tell you is that this VLTD being fitted onto these vehicles, being just a directive without a penal sentence attached to it, means nothing to most of us. Means little to anybody who's actually thinking about, how to flout the law. So this is where our futuristic approach should come in. We should have a next generation where most of our students, most of our children, when they grow up, when they become license holders, when they become bus operators, when they become drivers, know that they should abide by the law, not for anything else, but just for the sake of abiding by the law and being a good civilian. No other reason for that. So this is one of my prime priorities. Yesterday, when I had appeared before the High Court, I've told the High Court that, I'll take all earnest efforts and I'll come back to the High Court before the 28th of next month with solid proposals to ensure that this is done. Well, it's a $64 million question. I would actually implore all of you to explore possibilities how to make our own people behave. We are not in an enemy country. These are not enemy soldiers that we are fighting. We are actually fighting our own people, their own attitudes and a particular kind of aptitude where you think that if I know Srijit, I can manage anything. If I know Nagaraju, I can do anything in the city. No. Despite knowing anybody or not knowing anyone, you have to abide by the law. This is something which is a totally futuristic concept as we stand here today now, because this is actually totally alien to most of us. Now, I'm sorry if I was slightly blunt in putting across my views on these topics. Speed governors, as you know, have been built into most of the new vehicles now. They are observed more in violation than in, acquiescence to, what the norms are. So, all these things, we are going hammer and tongs now. So, again, it is a knee-jerk reaction. It is something which has happened out of an incident which shouldn't have happened. But we plan to sustain this, and I hope all of you will be there with us together. And I would implore all of you, all of those people who are sitting here, to send us videos of any violations if you see on the road, so that we can take proper action in whatever little ways we can. Little ways, I mean, I still certainly and positively think that the laws should have more teeth. Any which way, that apart, let me talk about the sustainable transport concepts that we are dwelling on today. I had actually attended a conference in Norway in June. It was all about e-mobility, electric mobility. So I thought that we had made great strides in electric mobility, but I was aghast when I reached there and found that we went nowhere compared to most of the European countries. But actually, we have made great strides with respect to electric mobility as far as Kerala is concerned at the national level. We have around 32,000 odd vehicles going fully electrical. And out of the total population of 1,67 lakhs, only 32,000 have gone electric. We are the first state in the country to register the hydrogen fueled vehicle. And it has been given for research to the Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute of Technology, which is under the KSRTC again. Now, talking about electric mobility and sustainable mobility with alternate fuels, there's a very serious concern which is being put up, and that is about the sustainability part. That is about the gestation period, and that is also about the charging time and how much time people would have to wait for a single charge to take place. So these are the concepts which were discussed at the international summit, and let me warn all of you that India has given a target to its own public, saying that at least 70% of the vehicles in India would go either electric or to non-conventional energy sources before 2050. Now, the summit, when I attended the summit, I thought that this was a great stride that we were making. These declarations were quite futuristic. But when I attended this particular summit in Norway, I found out that post 2030, if we don't measure up to the standards prescribed internationally on carbon neutrality, we wouldn't have a world in 2050 to boast about 70% of the vehicles going non-conventional. 2030 is the target set for total carbon neutrality. Now here the problem We are not concerned about the generation of electricity, how it is being generated. We are just now concerned about electric mobility and having more and more electric vehicles on the road. Little do we realize, unless the electricity that is being generated is either hydel or solar or wind powered, we are only adding up to the carbon emissions in a different way. What used to be directly emitted from the vehicles would be emitted from a plant. That's the only difference. We are not going to attain any kind of neutrality as envisaged, number one. If that be the case, another important question which has been posed is that, there was a senator, I don't know how many of you have seen that particular video. A senator was putting a question to one operator from Tesla in the US, where the US is actually planning to have 50% of all the vehicles on the roads going electric by 2030. So a normal household, the consumption of electricity on a normal household throughout the night for using a normal, suppose we use a couple of air conditioners and a fridge or maybe something, heaters and whatnot, it is almost 10 times the consumption of a normal household that is required to charge a proper high-powered vehicle. Now, the senator asked this particular person that what do you think is going to happen in the years to come when all these vehicles turn electric and your grid capacity is going to be something near to zero? Like, do you plan to say that we are going to have blackouts in the city and then just charge our vehicles? The person concerned didn't have a proper answer. Now this actually set most of us thinking, and there were a couple of summits nationally also which I attended, where MORTH is also seriously, MORTH is the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, is seriously seized of this matter, and they are also concerned about non-renewable sources of energy being put up on a larger scale in all the charging stations which are going to be put up all over the country. Now we are going to have 17 odd charging stations in the next 6 months or so, aided by the ANOT in different institutions of ours, the PWD offices, the KSRTC offices and whatnot. But regarding them being solar powered, we need additional funds, we need additional initiatives, and unless this happens, if the number of 32,000 goes up to something around 10 lakh, we would have blackouts in the state. So this is something which is of serious concern, which I think most of the experts here would be aware of, which should be deliberated. We are actually planning a serious conference internationally on the same issue in Kerala on 21st, 22nd and 20th, 21st and 22nd of January. That would be held in Trivandrum. The government has apportioned money for the same. We are bringing in experts internationally also. We are all on the job together. I implore all of you to kindly be one of the stakeholders. KMRL would certainly be a stakeholder. We will be approaching you, sir, and take initiatives in this to put forth ideas internationally to make electric mobility sustainable. And Kerala happens to be one hub where we can actually produce a lot of green hydrogen with the kind of water resources that we have. That also has to be stepped up, and serious research has to go on in those lines too. I hope KMRL would take the initiative, with Kochi being one of the hubs of the activity with IOC, BPCL, everybody over here. But let me tell you of one particular incident which has probably happened in Norway. They are way ahead of us in terms of hydrogen mobility, but there was an explosion one day in one of the hubs where this research was going on in Norway that set back the research initiatives at least by 10 years. The explosion, there were no casualties, no injuries, nothing. So safety protocols are of utmost importance. And as far as I know, there is no safety protocol prescribed even for the researches which are going on in many an establishment. I actually visited the Mahindra plant in Hosur last month. There's serious research going on there. But when I asked them about the safety protocols prescribed by the Bureau of Indian Standards, they said there is none. They said that we are following what all the others are following in Europe. I said I agree on all that, but there has to be some serious thought as to how a safety protocol should be for India in Indian customized circumstances. Now all these things, I'm naive enough to admit that I know little about the research which has actually gone on over all those years. My experience on all this new modes of mobility is only about 5 months old. But I implore all of you to put your heads together and have solutions for all these questions that have been thrown up now. With these humble words, I think I'll have to break free from the conference with the permission of the chair, because I have to with the permission of Father Dr. Jose Correa, I would actually request you to allow me to proceed to Palghat. So I would request that this August gathering to give me permission also, whereas it already has granted me permission, so that's fine. I request all of you to put all of your heads together and give serious thought on all these deliberations and how we can take it up in a sustainable manner. And one more thing I forgot to tell you is that electric mobility in the maritime sector is something which we can actually boast of as having provided for other countries but having little for ourselves. We've actually provided a couple of steamers in Norway from the Cochin shipyard, which are electric, but we still have fossil driven vessels going all around the place, all around our backwaters and seas, little realizing that we can do a lot more if we actually have our vessels also going electric. So this maritime mobility also might be a food for thought for all of you, and I hope these deliberations happening today and tomorrow would actually bring out, so it's confined for today, no sir? The deliberations which happening today would come up with very fruitful suggestions for the futuristic model, which has thrown up a lot of questions which I have put up to you there. I'm sure there would be more and better or worse questions with all of you. I hope we have answers to all of them. At least have a thought-provoking initiatives from today's conference, and let us take it forward. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir. Before you leave, we would like to give a small memento as a token of our appreciation. For that, I would like to invite the Director of RSET, Reverend Father Dr. Jose Correa, CMI, to present the memento. I would also like to invite the Group Editor, Bishwajit Sahu, Medalitics, to deliver their memento.
Now, we will have the address by the Director of Rajagiri School of Engineering and Technology. Reverend Father Dr. Jose Correa, CMI, was a professor of sociology at Sacred Heart College, Tevara from 1980 to 2000 and retired as the principal of the college. He has a doctoral degree in sociology and did postdoctoral research in sociology at Catholic University of Leuven, Belgium from 1990 to 1992. He has published 7 books and many scientific articles on sociology of religion. From 2008 to 2014, he was the General Counselor for Education and Communication Media in the CMI congregation. From 2014, he served as the Prior of S.H. Monastery and the Manager of Sacred Heart College Autonomous and other educational institutions of the congregation in Tevara, Kochi. From 2017 to 2020, he was the Provincial Superior of Sacred Heart Province, Kochi, of the CMI congregation. With utmost respect, I welcome you onto the dais, sir.
Sri Hybrid and MB, Sri S. Srijit, Transport Commissioner, Sri Loknath Bera, MD of KMRL, Sri Nagaraju, the Police Commissioner, and Prashant Sinha, Dr. P.S. Srijit, our Principal, Reverend Dr. Jason Malerikal, the Vice Principal, distinguished participants, My greetings and best wishes for the success of this summit on transport and technology hosted by our Rajagiri School of Engineering and Technology and organized by KMRL and other institutions. We have been fortunate to associate with KMRL in collecting data, analyzing the data and projecting it for the development of Kochi Metro for some time, and the first phase has come to a completion, and this summit is organized as a kind of recognition of that completion, and I understand that the second phase will begin soon and it has been sanctioned. The Rajagiri College of Engineering has sufficient facilities and also capable faculty members to do research on different fields of technology development, and we try to keep abreast of the developments in the general society and these particular fields. And the college has, I think, 4 computer-related or digital-related faculty departments like computer science, IT, artificial intelligence and data analysis, and computer science and business system. All these different departments work together and in taking projects and developing them for the benefit of the society. And so we are very fortunate to collaborate with the KMRL for our good. As it was mentioned by the different speakers, the application of new digital technology and computer science in different fields of our life, and particularly in transport system, has helped us immensely for the development of that system and also to prevent accidents in different ways. And in spite of all this, in our society we see the the lack of enforcement of such system. We are not lacking that system, but somehow we are not trying to enforce it because of several pressures. Anyway, this summit will make us more aware of these needs, and I hope that we will move forward and we will be able to, this college will be able to work together, and we look forward to closer collaboration with KMRL and other agencies for this. So thank you very much for organizing this seminar and giving an opportunity to host here. So my best wishes and greetings once again. Thank you very much. I have to attend a funeral elsewhere, so I have to leave immediately. It is already late. So I regret to inform you that I will not be able to wait for the completion of this program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Father. I would like to invite the group editor, Vishwajit Sahu Medalitics, to deliver the memento as a token of gratitude.
Next, we have the addressal by the program chair, Mr. Loknath Behra, MD of KMRL. Mr. Loknath Behra is a retired Indian Police Service officer. He was the Kerala State Police Chief and Director General of Police. He was one of the National Investigation Agency's founding members, that is NIA. Mr. Behra began his career as an ASP in Alappuzha and went on to serve as ACP in Trikakara, SP in Kannur, Commandant of the KAP 4 Battalion, Commissioner of Kochi City, IG of Police Headquarters, ADGP, DGP of Prisons, and DGP of Crime, Fire and Rescue Services. He was also instrumental in modernizing the Kerala Police Force, providing it with modern vehicles as well as cutting-edge small arms and non-lethal weaponry. The government of Kerala reappointed him as the Managing Director of Kochi Metro on August 28, 2021. KMRL has a concrete vision for the iconic Metro Rail Corporation, which has set new standards in last-mile connectivity and commuter comfort. Sir, with utmost pleasure, I welcome you onto the dais.
Honorable Member of Parliament Sri Ivy Eden, and all the dignitaries on the dais, friends. I'll tell you a small story which happened with me. I went to China for an official visit, and that was relating to actually the court. So we went to, the Attorney General was there, and we went to the Supreme Court of China. In the Supreme Court, when we reached there by about 12 o'clock, and the registrar said that we are really sorry that you can't actually meet any of the judges because this is exercise break. I said, all were very stunned. What exercise break is this? So very interestingly, we were told that the Honorable Lordships are doing cycling. So 12 to 1 o'clock, they do cycling. So Nagaraj will be very happy to actually being an avid cyclist. Why I am telling this particular thing is this. Then we asked how the Lordships come to the court. So most of them come by cycle. That time I did not realize the importance of what is the cycling. I thought that this must be actually well-being of a person. I mean, it's a good exercise. But after joining the KMRL, I realized the importance of something we call a non-motorized transport. So everywhere in the urban transport scenario, Honorable MP will bear me out. This is the dictum which the parliamentary committee is also sending the signals all to everybody. Go to the actually non-motorized transport. And non-motorized transport will include cycling to pedestrian to now you can say electric vehicles. But as Srijit has already told you that electric vehicles has become actually a fashion statement. So everywhere actually if you are owning an electric vehicle, then you are actually showing it that I have got an electric vehicle. I am actually trying to help Mother Earth for this. For the other side of that, one day I asked a person, what happens to the battery when it actually conks up, it doesn't work? Where do you keep the battery then? Actually, I do not think there is a particular plan by anybody how to dispose the batteries. As you said, actually the total blackout, if every person, 1 crore vehicle in Kerala, if they are going to use the chargers in the night, what will happen to the power situation here? This is the question. So are we generating the actually electricity? Now the concept, the other day Mr. Nitin Gadkari was telling that the kind of things which has to come is that when the vehicle is actually moving on the road, it gets automatically charged from the road, like a metro. Metro actually, the electricity it takes from the side and it runs. As far as actually technology and actually this particular thing, there are a lot of things I can speak. I don't want to actually speak much because many of the experts are here. But what happens ultimately is the technology technology can be there. But how much of technology is appropriate? Number one. Number two, how much of technology people should use? And ultimately, the biggest technology is your brain. That particular thing, when I was the DG or I was in police headquarters, we are doing a lot of planning for accident prevention, accident reduction, this, that. But that 4,000 figure, 3,700 odd never changed, except during COVID. COVID, because the lockdowns, etc. were there, so it immediately came down to less than 2,000. Because people were not traveling. But the moment you travel on the road, they jam. When the Palakkad accident happened, apart from the emotional factors, sentimental factors, or the all kind of things, I was wondering whether there can be a system where there will be a sensor in the car or in the vehicle. So it will actually immediately, the bus which is coming from the back side or the front, it will stop. The sensor will stop the engine because you are coming very near to that. I was thinking just like that. This will come because you just see Mercedes-Benz. It's a very expensive car and all. You know why it is, apart from its actually spare parts, this, that, whatever is done, it has a lot of features to prevent an accident. It actually warns you that it is that. But cost and other things prohibit probably the smaller cars to have those kind of technologies to be embedded into the car. Now whether it is a navigational technology or the GPS or whatever you say about technology, this technology will be there in the transport. Transport itself is technology. So therefore, what type of technology can be used and what type of thing will be appropriate, mindlessly just using the technology will not serve any purpose. As I said, the most indomitable thing is the human mind. You have all the technology, but you don't have that right attitude, then the accidents will take place. Even if you have all kind of things, okay, you can reduce the probability of reducing the accident. What is actually I am talking about coming to the KMRL or others. Every time we also think how new technology can be brought in and what will be the ease of using the technology. For example, we have put a deadline on ourselves. Axis Bank, Sinha Sahab is here, Sachin is here. We are working overtime to see that no ticket from the month of January will probably issue in a paper form. It will be all digital. And so that it will also actually be paper, actually disposal of papers, the tickets also is a issue for us. Similarly, we are also thinking in the phase 2, what type of new technology can be brought into this system so that our people can complete the project quickly. We have put a timeline on us that in 24 months we will run the train in the second page. It's a tall order, I know. My director project is here, very experienced person. He will bear me out. We are thinking how to do it. And we have to do it. That's what as I said, I probably have a little type of stubbornness in me saying that if a thing is being thought of, it has to be done. So, what type of technology will bring in construction? What type of technology will bring in the trains so that everything goes in perfect order? Now, in 2 days, sir, I am just bringing it to your notice and to Nagaraju and other, Axis Bank of course, that we are going to give high-speed internet to inside the trains. So anybody can, if he is traveling for 30-40 minutes, he can work by sitting in the train. So I have experimented this one with 4 youngsters and it was successful. 23 of our 25 trains have been now fitted. We are going to launch this next week. That will actually ease of travel because the person did not have to see only WhatsApp. He can work sitting there in a corner, or actually like the office is actually brought to the metro train. These are very small things. Yesterday when we were discussing, I was telling that, look, people are talking about driverless metro trains. So, which is actually a reality many of the countries are having. Probably in one way, it may be only to show that we achieved a thing that driverless metro. But probably in our country when we have employment issues and other things, it is better to actually engage our people also to this kind of work. But otherwise, what I say that we can put robots inside the train to run the train, and he can actually do that. All these things can be done. Lastly, I just wanted to say one thing to all the experts here. Ultimately, your mind, your brain is important. Nothing can beat that particular thing. No technology can beat.
we are doing a lot of work with Rajagiri's, institutes. When I was in police commissioner, that time onwards I am associated with this particular great institution. Now we are doing some data analytics. The first phase is over. The second phase, I am just announcing. We have brought that order to be handed over to Father Jason. So we will be knowing a predictive analysis that tomorrow what will be the number of passengers who will be most possibly commuting. We are putting actually a lot of parameters like the day, the festivities, the incidents. You know, yesterday I actually this ISL, this football match, I was thinking that we will touch 80,000, but we actually reached 1,14,000 or something like that yesterday. So the unpredictability factor is always there, but this predictive analysis actually gives us how many trains have to run, how many drivers have to be engaged, and what time will reduce the number, what time will increase the number. So Father, I am happy to tell you that the second page thing will be done by you, and we are actually expecting good results on that. So that is the part. Then everybody talks to me about water metro. Well, water metro is full of technology. It is, I would actually say, the game changer in the Cochin scenario will be the water metro. I want to see one day, if I am alive, that Kochi people don't use their own cars. They come by public transport. Yesterday when I was talking to somebody in the TFL, the TFL is the Transport for London. So that city is the #1 city for integrated intermodal transport. What Highway Eden told now Istanbul, he bought a card and he can travel. That started long back in London. Anywhere you can actually buy a day pass, you can travel in any mode of transport, including water, everything. That we are definitely going to bring here. That's no doubt. Now Axis Bank has given the integration, one particular thing, for you can travel in water metro, you can travel in the metro. Now we are actually making the auto rickshaws. We are putting around 75 auto rickshaw electric autos with a geo-fenced particular mechanism, with again integration like that. Because the technology has made it very simple. These are not great technologies, very simple technologies based in a mobile phone. We'll bring those things to actually ensure that the ease of life, ease of transport, ease of anything related to that will be there. We planned a lot of things over the period of time for the next 1 year or 2 years, and I'm sure that this technology will make them easy for us to actually to implement those kind of aspirations which you have envisaged. Lastly, I thank actually the RSET, the Rajagiri Science and Engineering Technology College, and the Rajagiri Institutes. I am grateful to them for actually organizing this. I'm thankful to Biswajit and his team. I'm thankful to all the dignitaries who came with a short notice. We could not actually, because of certain engagement, preoccupations, we could not devote much time into this, much of the thoughts about this transport summit. On November 4th, 5th, 6th, the Urban Mobility India Conference will be held in Kochi. This is one of the largest conferences on transport and urban development. We are expecting the Honorable Prime Minister to be here on that. And this is what actually is right now. At the end, sir, I'll tell you a very interesting thing which I started. Yesterday I told this thing to some of my junior executives. Some time back, Mr. Pramod Mahajan and myself, we traveled to US.
He was that time the IT minister. I was working in the CBI. On the way, actually, after seeing some of the technologies there, jokingly he told me a small story. And the lessons you imagine, I will not tell what is the actually takeaway from that story. The story is like this. A particular university, say Rajagiri, actually made a plane. The plane, they claimed, it is highly automated. It doesn't require even a pilot. It actually traces all kind of anti-collision, all kind of things are there. So the minister was called to see the plane. He went inside the plane and saw, very surprisingly, there is a huge dog sitting on the co-pilot seat. And the pilot is also there. Then he said, first the minister asked, who is this guy? He is the pilot. In case of anything to be done, he is there. He will not fly, he will be there. Okay. Then he said, and who is this dog? Now why is this dog? He said, to keep the pilot awake. So then he said, okay. Then the minister was very interesting. Then he said that if the pilot has nothing to do with the plane, why the bloody pilot is here? To feed the dog. So, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now let's move on to one of the most important programs of today. Now we have the release of KMRL project phase 2 executed by RSIT. I would like to invite the principal, vice principal of RSIT and director of KMRL onto this stage.
Launching of Digital Summit Souvenir. Medalytics has come out with a digital edition of Summit Souvenir for the Gen Next Transport and Technology Summit with articles, features on Gaiti Shakti, EV technology, smart mobility, knowledge papers and interviews of MD, Kochi Metro, MD, Bengaluru Metro, along with leading mobility practitioners of the country. It carries the message of Honorable Minister of Road, Transport and Highways, Shri Nitin Gadkari, and MOS of IT and Skill Development. It can be accessed on Summit website, and a special link of the digital edition would be shared shortly with all the stakeholders. Okay. Now I invite the group editor, Vishwajit Sahu of Medalytics, to deliver. For the felicitation, apologies. I request our principal to hand over the memento to Haibe Eden, sir. Sir, I request you to kindly stay. Yes. I request our principal of RSET to hand over the memento. Thank you, sir.
Next, we have the address by the guest of honor, Sri Nagaraju Chakilam, IPS, IG, Commissioner of Police, Kochi City. Sir has 17 years of experience in law enforcement, investigation and human resource management, researched on accountability mechanisms in PPPs and social acceptance of corruption. He always focused on the menace of drugs and instilling safety and security among the public, especially vulnerable sections like women and children, through people-centric policing as his immediate priorities. 2003 Kerala Cadre Officer, Mr. Nagaraju did his MPhil in Criminology from Cambridge University in the United Kingdom. He had also served in the Central Bureau of Investigation for over 5 years in Mumbai, where he headed the Anti-Corruption Branch and Bank Fraud Investigation Branch. He had also served as a Superintendent of Police, Alappuzha, and Deputy Police Commissioner, Thiruvananthapuram City. We invite you onto the stage, sir.
Respected Loknath Behra sir, respected Professor Dr. Srijit, Sri Prashant Sinha, Senior Vice President, Axis Bank, and dignitaries in absentia, Father Jason Paul, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I would like to thank RSET and Medialytics for inviting me to this August gathering and giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts on the summit. Being a police officer and an enforcer of law, we day in and day out we deal with human behavior. One of the outcomes I want from this summit, I would request from you all too, is to remember about how human behavior is going to affect all our planning, all our technology solutions, all our infrastructure solutions. If we make human behavior the center of all our planning and implementation, then things will fall in place. Because we see day in and day out, we always try to mold human behavior as enforcers. We want people to take a lane. We want people to keep the free left lane. We want people to stop at the stop line. We want pedestrians to use only the zebra crossing. These are the behaviors we want to mold or we want to enforce. But what we notice is, if the infrastructure, the transport infrastructure or the technology infrastructure is supportive of the enforcement, our life becomes easy. If you ask the policeman standing at the junction, if the red light is not working or if the zebra crossing is not at the appropriate place, how difficult it is for him to enforce that law. So whether it is a legal prescription or a behavioral prescription, transport infrastructure plays a major role. First, I'll give you a good example of how an infrastructure should be. Our own KMRL, our Kochi Metro. I call it our Kochi Metro now because I travel in Kochi Metro. Sir knows it. Whenever I travel, I send him a photograph. KMRL is a very good example of how infrastructure facilitates law enforcement, infrastructure molds human behavior. We all know Metro Act. I said this in an earlier gathering also. Metro Act says Metro has the right of way. Now if I say I have the right of way and I build the tracks on the road, can I enforce it? No. There will be 100 accidents per day. Just like we see in the railways, and every day we see accidents. But Metro has made it structurally possible. You raise the pillars. You made the right of way into a structural possibility. Now you have the right based on the structure itself. And secondly, the human behavior. When a person enters into the ecosystem of Metro, his behavior is automatically guided. He cannot exit without complying. He has to comply. He has to buy a ticket. He has to buy a Kochi One card. His behavior is monitored at every corner. Safety is also inbuilt. What they say, human behavior If you can make the human behavior convenient, they will follow it. If you make it inconvenient, they will not follow it. So when we are trying to form technology solutions or infrastructural solutions, we have to make it convenient to people. More, if it is better, it's better if we make it pleasurable. Like sir said, we are trying to give internet, high-speed internet. So that's an added thing. Why do people go to Lulu Mall? Because it is pleasurable to shop in Lulu Mall. Why am I not going to any other small traditional mall? It's not giving me that pleasure. So we should always keep human behavior like this. If you make it convenient, if you make it pleasurable, people will definitely follow. Secondly, human behavior is also like flow of water. People will take the least path of resistance. So if you structurally facilitate this, technologically facilitate this, they will follow the path. Now I'll give you a bad example, or a bad example usually, our road transport infrastructure. When we see our footpath structures, our parking areas, I have a huge complex here, and there is a huge footfall of people here, and I need parking area there, and there is no parking area. There is no infrastructure for parking. And Tottadta, next to it, there is a bank who have created their own parking area, let us say. And people would like to park in front of the bank, and bank wants to enforce that nobody should park except my customers. It's difficult to enforce, isn't it? So make it convenient for people. So if, second example, now a certain road is very narrow, and the road is regularly being used by big vehicles and small vehicles. Now I want a footpath also there, because there are various stakeholders. You have to facilitate all stakeholders. Now once I build a footpath, I cannot allow big vehicles there, but there are huge bus stands inside. Buses have to go. Now Indians, we are good at jugaad. What we do? I incline the footpath so that the tire can get onto the footpath and get down from the footpath. Now another stakeholder whom we have not involved in the planning stage, he will think, okay, there is an incline in the footpath. That means I can take my vehicle onto the footpath. He will go and park the vehicle on the footpath. Now for the enforcer, it's a hell. Now pedestrian cannot walk because there is a vehicle. The bus cannot walk because it will hit the bike. So, as indicated earlier, when I studied one of my thesis was on stakeholder involvement. We have to involve stakeholders at the planning stage itself. For all our things, we are all experts in our respective fields, but we have to involve stakeholders during our planning stage and also at the implementation stage, because what all we plan at the implementation, it becomes highly necessary to mold certain of your planning, some of your plans. So at both stages we should involve stakeholders. I'll quickly conclude with one of my models I created. I call it target. Stakeholder involvement mein, I have devised a model. It is called target ripple effect model. Like being in police, we always thinking of weapons and guns and targets. So a gun target is usually circular. It has a inner circle, which is a bull's eye. We have outer, we have a magpie, and we have concentric circles. We try to hit the bull's eye. So just imagine your stakeholders like these concentric circles. The core stakeholders for every project of yours, just list out your core stakeholders, and then the outer stakeholders, and then the peripheral stakeholders. Like that, if you can identify, list out all your stakeholders and target the core stakeholders and implement your project, your project will be a success. Because what we have noticed, I had studied one Trivandrum based road project for my IIM Bangalore thesis. The Ireland FS was the implementing agency. They had done it so beautifully just by targeting the local people. There were the core users, local people, local shopkeepers, residential associations, banks on the route. They engaged them so well that they never went wrong anywhere in their implementation or planning stage. This involvement of stakeholders created lot of accountability for the project managers, and it brought about a lot of transparency in the project implementation. Thirdly, it created a ripple effect amongst all the other stakeholders. That's what I call a ripple. If you target the core stakeholders, involve them well, the outer and peripheral stakeholders will also be convinced about your project outcomes. They will support your project. Most of our problems is because we don't involve them, and now I want to build a road straight, but that particular stakeholder will not give his land, then I'll twist my road. And there will be 100 accidents there in every year. That is a black spot. Because we did not involve him or consider him at the planning stage. So whether it is a technology or infrastructure, we have to keep these human behavior and stakeholder in our mind. So with these brief words, I end my talk. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir. I would like to call upon the Senior Vice President, Sri Prashant Sinha, Axis Bank, for their addressal. Mr. Prashant Sinha has more than 17 years of experience in the banking industry. He has been with the Citibank for more than 15 years across various divisions, ranging from heading regional sales to heading payment products. He has an eye for detail and has always had customer satisfaction in his forefront. Currently, Mr. Prashant Sinha is the head product for credit cards, debit cards, prepaid and transit cards. He also superheads the Axis Loyalty Program. We please invite you, sir.
Good morning, everyone, and a very warm welcome. I would first like to start with a thanks and gratitude to the organizers, the host partner, KMRL, and all the other partners who made this happen. It looks like a very exciting forum. The tone is already set by some of our distinguished speakers, Mehraji, for example, Nagarajuji. What I would like to say here is slightly different from the subject matter of what other distinguished speakers have said, because safety, security is not my subject matter. However, before that, I would just like to take a step back and just observe as to how transport and mobility in this country has progressed. The transformation, it's an amazing transformation that's happening, right? And particularly, metro is one which is at the forefront of it, right? Now, if we look at the last 7-8 years, from where we were 5 cities having metro to now almost 18 cities, 248 kilometers, now almost at 733 kilometers. The 2025 vision is to go to 25 cities, almost 1700 kilometers. And one of the prime examples of this is our partnership with Cochin Metro. Cochin Metro is at the forefront of transforming how common citizens' daily commuting and travel needs is being met in a very different way, in a very integrated manner. And a couple of distinguished speakers on the dais made this point as to how you have one card or one payment instrument and you access all types of transportation. It obviously makes it very easy for common citizens. It helps tourism also, right? And that's where I would like to bring in this topic in this entire ecosystem of travel and mobility, while safety, security, emerging new ways, integration. One of the enablers and one of the important things is as to how does the customer pay for their daily commute needs, right? How is it so simple? How is it convenient? One of the examples of this is essentially, let's take our Axis Bank Kochi One Metro card, right, which is in partnership with Cochin Metro. Right? Now, it's one of the examples of simplicity and integration, because it's not a card which is separate for bus, separate for metro, or the card is just for transportation, right? So, like how any other payment instrument, customer can meet their daily needs along with transportation. So it's one composite package, right? It started in 2017, and it provides a whole host of benefits to customers. There are rewards, there are incentives, because it's very important in the digital payments that the end consumer is engaged. There are reasons for the end consumer to continually use the card. I'm told it is now catering to almost 1 lakh people on a daily basis, which is a significant number. And now with the exciting Water Metro launch, which is very shortly going to happen, I think the new frontiers will keep coming, right? And simplicity, convenience to the end user, and integrated approach. I think these are the key points that as a consumer, for example, I would look, right? And of course, as a bank partner to Kochi Metro, we are committed to that. Now, I would just take a step back and think, for example, let's say in my student days, when I was in the city of Mumbai, there was a bus, there was a local train, there was a pass for a local train, there was a separate bus ticket, right? That's 20 years back. Today, if we look at Kochi Metro and the card and the QR innovation and how interoperable it is across different media, right? I think it's just a fascinating story. It's just an important destination. It's just an important milestone. It's not a destination. There are many such milestones that are going to come, and particularly with the Kochi Metro partnership, right? One of the things to highlight here again is the Kochi Metro app that recently got launched. It has QR functionality. The tickets are on QR, and it's done in partnership with our network partner RuPay. Now, this is our country's first, and again, it's an innovation, so one should be proud of it. The Kochi Metro app will allow customers to view their statements, their transactions, block cards, various other things, right? So it's essentially marrying technology for payments, trying to solve a need for mobility and commuting, essentially, right? Some of the specific offers which I spoke of, for example, are very prestigious and important offer on Easy Diner, which provides fabulous discounts across restaurants in the country. I think it's opened up for our Kochi Metro card. So essentially it gives back to the customers, right? Rewards and incentives are very important for all customers to use digital payments. Now we are also looking at ONDC. That's an exciting one. We have our ears open to that. All I would say is that I'm looking forward to the discussions, to look forward to insights, so that as a bank, as a payment partner, we can continue to gain insights, look at this and use as to how do we help this integrated and interoperable approach of simple and convenient commute and transport. So I wish all the participants the very best, and again a very warm welcome, and thank you once again.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, I would like to call upon the principal of Rajagiri School of Engineering and Technology for his address, sir. Dr. P.S. Srijit. He completed his BSc Mechanical Engineering from University of Kerala, his MTech from IIT Kanpur, and PhD from IIT Madras. Subsequently, he was a postdoctoral fellow at the Nanyang Technological University in Singapore in an area of precision engineering and nanotechnology. He briefly worked in the industry prior to joining academia. During his tenure with the Kochi University of Science and Technology, where he has been a professor since 2006, he served as the principal of the College of Engineering, Kuttanad, and School of Engineering, Kisat. He also served as a syndicate member of Kisat. He has published widely in international journals, has presented conference papers around the globe, and is a reviewer for international journals and publishing houses. As a research supervisor, Dr. Srijit has successfully guided 10 PhD scholars. Currently, 6 scholars are pursuing their PhD under his guidance. He is also the principal investigator for several research projects under AICTE, UGC, DST, and CDB. Sir, I welcome you onto the dais.
Respected Sri Loganath Bera, MD of Kochi Metro, Sri Nagaraju IPS, Police Commissioner, Sri Prashant Sinha, Reverend Father Dr. Jason Mularigal, Vice Principal of our school, dignitaries of the dais, participants, faculty members, and dear students. It's my pleasure and privilege to be here during the inaugural session of the next generation transportation technology. At the outset, I would thank the MD of Cochin Metro as well as other officials of Cochin Metro for sanctioning the second phase of the project to our school, and the project is going to be performed under the leadership of our Vice Principal, Reverend Father Dr. Jason Mularigal. And regarding the history of the transportation system, if I talk, initially it has been the intention of human to travel fast as well as at their convenience, as a result of which initially they were using that of the animals, and then invented the wheel. Then there were carts, wagons, and steam power has been invented during the Industrial Revolution during 1760, and then came the internal combustion engines, and now we are having autonomous cars and electric cars. Many of the things which we have read in fiction as well as seen in English films are coming to that of a reality. And the three things which is essentially required as far as a transportation system is concerned are: one, smarter source of energy; two will be the transportation modes; and the third one will be physical and technological infrastructure for these different innovative modes of transportation. And the transportation system will take us to the skies during the next generation. And already we have these drones, and now there is autonomous aerial vehicles which has already been successfully tested. And the autonomous aerial vehicles, AAVs they are called, they will be able to transport people as well as cargo from one place to another. And another advantage of this will be they can be called as VT oil systems, in the sense means vertical takeoff and landing systems, as a result of which they will be able to transport people or cargo from that of our congested roads, and they don't require that of a runway because they will be taking off vertically and also will be with a minimal aerial distance. And also there is hover bikes which will be similar to that of bikes. Again, they may not be requiring any runways or anything of that sort. And these autonomous cars have already came into existence in cities like Los Angeles, etc. in USA. And what I have read, or what I think, is that there will not be the number of people owning the cars will reduce, especially in countries like Canada. Now it is the case, the number of people who will be owning the cars are becoming less, because these driverless cars or autonomous cars will be quite cheaper compared with that of investing for a vehicle. So that is another development which also will be coming, and we hope that also will be coming into our country also. Then again, you would have heard about these hover loops, which is a new invention. It can be called by this Elon Musk in 2012, and now there is a company in Los Angeles, Virgin Hyperloop it is called, so that people will be able to travel through capsules through a tube, and the tube will be having a lower pressure, or sometimes it can be a vacuum, by means of which the friction can be avoided to a large extent, and thereby people will be able to travel within half an hour, and the speed will be very high, in the sense means minimum 600 miles per hour or 1000 kilometers per hour. It will be designed to travel from cities to cities, to different countries, as well as even between that of the different continents. And I hope and I understand that these are the new developments which will be coming in the next generation. And I wish such things will be discussed in this meeting, and hope and I wish success to this next generation transport technology summit. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now we would like to present the mementos. First, I would like to invite the principal of ASIT to present the memento to Mr. Loknath Behra as a token of gratitude. Now, I would like to invite a VP of ASIT to present the memento to Mr. Nagaraju Chaklam, IPS.
Thank you. Kindly be seated. The summit is happy to award GoEC Autotech Private Limited on the category of Best EV Supercharging Stations, Aggregate of the Year. For this, we invite Mr. Panikar from GoEC Autotech to receive the award, and I request our dignitary to hand over the award. Mr. Loknath Behra, sir, I request you to hand over the award. Thank you, dignitaries. Now, I would like to call upon Group Editor Biswajit Saho of Medalytics to deliver the vote of thanks. I would like to call upon Biswajit Saho to felicitate the guests. Firstly, I call upon Mr. Behra. Mr. Prasant Sinha. Shri Nagaraju sir. And our Vice Principal. And to our beloved Principal. Mr. Biswajit Sahu, Group Editor and CEO of Medalytics Digital Convergence, is a social entrepreneur and management and communication professional with extensive experience in project management, content management, and knowledge management. He has worked almost 18 years in the field of creative media communication with special expertise in digital communications, media management, new media initiatives, and organizing curated knowledge sessions. He has worked directly with several reputed organizations like World Bank, JICA, Ernst & Young, NSDC, Ministry of Environment and Forests, Ministry of Commerce, Government of Jharkhand, and Government of Odisha in different capacities. With utmost respect, I welcome you onto the stage, sir.
Namaskar, and this is almost good afternoon now. On behalf of GenX Transport and Technology Summit 2022 and Medalytics Digital Convergence, the new age governance digital tech startup enterprise, I express my sincere gratitude and to the dignitaries present over here. Our most sincere thanks to Sri Hebe Eden, Honorable MP Ernakulam, and the Member Parliamentary Standing Committee on Housing and Urban Affairs, who kindly consented to be the guest of honor with us today. His gracious presence and words will always motivate us to set new examples and excellence in execution of this kind of knowledge-based programs in future. Our sincere thanks to Sri S. Srijit sir, the Transport Commissioner, Government of Kerala, who despite of his extremely busy schedule consented to be the keynote speaker today at this Transport and Technology Summit. Our sincere thanks to Father Dr. Jose Courier, the Director RSET, who also despite of his prior commitment made it to the summit and joined as a guest of honor in the inaugural session. Our sincere thanks to Nagaraju sir, the Commissioner Police and IG of Kochi City, joining this summit and inspiring all the audience with his wise words on mobility and real-time solutions for evolving challenges from his own experiences and from his own research backgrounds on the transportation sector as a guest of honor today. Our sincere thanks to Mr. Prashant Sinha, Senior Vice President Cards of Axis Bank, who also despite of his prior commitment and busy schedule joined this summit as special guest and deliberated in the inaugural session. We are really grateful to Sri Loknath Behra sir, the Managing Director of Kochi Metro Rail Limited and the Program Chair of this summit, who consented to be the Program Chair of this summit and our mentor since last couple of months, despite of his busy schedule and commitment in public services. He made it a point that he continues to guide us for the summit and Medalytics in particular in presenting the best practitioners and to the forum for the deliberations. Sir has been our pillar of strength and in carrying innovations in the GenX Transport and Technology Summit. Your guidance will continue to inspire us to come out with more such innovations and impactful knowledge-based sharing programs in future, sir. Our sincere thanks to Father Jason Paul Molecular, the Vice Principal of HARSET, who has been the program mentor and our partner in executing this innovative summit. Thank you, Father, for being the friend, philosopher, and guide to Medalytics Digital Convergence in coordinating and organizing the summit and sticking to the tail end of the summit despite of your overseas travel plan. We are very thankful indeed for providing a strong support and encouragement to us. We are also thankful to the principal of RSET for making it to the summit and guiding everybody and also making this forum very enriching. The able and dynamic leadership of Team Kochi Metro and Team RSET has really infused new energy and drive in executing the summit. Our sincere thanks to KMRL team for hosting the summit and RSET for extending all the facilities for organizing the summit of the scale, and Axis Bank team for supporting us partner in the summit. On behalf of Medalytics, I thank you all to the core members of Kochi Metro, RSET and Axis Bank. I also take this opportunity to thank other distinguished dignitaries like Mr. Ratish from BMRC and Professor Ashish Verma of IST Lab of ISC Bangalore and many other speakers present here today. I must also thank the representative of Cochin Smart City, Cochin Port Trust, Cochin CPAD Limited, CMTA and other esteemed mobility practitioners who graced the summit as key speakers and panelists. Finally, my sincere thanks to the audience and the esteemed media for covering this event. Namaskar and Jai Hind.
Without all your support, this event would not have been possible, and for that, we wholeheartedly thank you all. I also want to thank everyone for attending this conference. It not only shows your interest, but also that you all have understood the importance of this conference. On this note, we will be having a short tea break. Thank you all.